It's 2021, so let's talk about Sealab 2021. We're going to take a ride in the Wayback Machine for the start of this one. Way back in 1991, Ted Turner purchased the massive library of animation studio Hanna-Barbera, famous for producing classic cartoons such as Scooby-Doo, The Flintstones, and more. With so much content available to broadcast, Cartoon Network launched the following year. Original cartoons aired the following years on the channel, and eventually the channel wanted to expand its demographic reach by producing content for teenagers and young adults. During this search for more mature animated content, Space Ghost Coast to Coast debuted in 1994. This show retooled the animation from one of Hanna-Barbera's superhero cartoons into a zany late-night talk show. In the following year, Matt Thompson and Adam Reed, who both worked as production assistants for Cartoon Network at the time, came across a tape of a mostly forgotten Hanna-Barbera cartoon called Sealab 2020, and wrote new dialogue for it and pitched this as a potential show to Cartoon Network. This could be considered one of the progenitors to the abridged series that gained prominence on YouTube in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Cartoon Network rejected the pitch on the grounds of it not being funny. That original pitch is available on the Season 1 DVD set. I watched it, and...
You're promoted, what's your face? Thank you, sir. Eh, mon dieu, quelle salope.
Yeah, I can see Cartoon Network's point. Thompson and Reed would revisit the pilot, and Cartoon Network purchased the show in 2000 for the upcoming adult-oriented animation block Adult Swim. Of those four first original Adult Swim shows produced by William Street, including Aqua Teen Hunger Force, The Brock Show, and Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, Sealab 2021 was my favorite. This was when I started getting into less kid-friendly content, so I thought these Adult Swim cartoons were so cool. I found the characters in Sealab funny and charming in the early seasons and laughed so hard at their zany antics. I have revisited the show in the years since and want to give it a full review. It is, as of the time of this writing, 2021 after all. Sealab 2021 takes place a year after Sealab 2020, and the researchers aboard have gradually lost their minds in isolation and boredom, leading to wacky shenanigans, death, and the destruction of the whole Sealab installation. But don't worry, there's negative continuity, so everyone is fine by the next episode. Here's our regular cast of undersea researchers turned ensemble of goofballs. First up we have Captain Hazel Hank Murphy, played by the late and great Harry Goss. The only thing more tenuous than Captain Murphy's job qualifications is his grasp on reality.
Some thief stole the one thing that brings me joy, my one ray of sunshine in this crappy rust bucket, my happy cake oven.
He is crazy and fantastic, doing what he pleases on a whim, and has fears ranging from doppelgangers to flashlights. Sealab blows up often under his watch. Captain Murphy is arguably the star of the show and certainly the heart. So many of his lines are meme-worthy.
Pudding can't fill the emptiness inside me, but it'll help. But the secret ingredient is love. Damn it.
Many reviewers and fans agree that the show lost a lot of its charm when Captain Murphy was written out after the passing of his voice actor. There was a heartwarming tribute to Harry Goss in the Season 2 DVD set's bonus features. Next up we have Jodine Sparks, but everyone just calls him Sparks. He is the communications officer and a criminal mastermind manipulating the rest of the crew from the comfort of the office chair he never leaves. His quest for, quote, an assload of money has led to many deaths. Derek Stormy Waters is the pretty guy with an empty head. His job at Sealab is whatever the plot needs it to be. His dumbness grows as the seasons go on, and to me, it's a detriment. Dr. Quentin Q. Quinn is the smartest person on Sealab and tends to rub it in the faces of the rest of the crew and yell at them for their unprofessionalism. Considering their idiocy and insanity, his exasperation is understandable.
Quinn always saves us. Stupid rock. Damn! Oh, for the love of... Sorry, Gus.
He is usually the voice of reason, and like with Frylock and Aqua Teen Hunger Force, it can be jarring when he isn't. Debbie Dupree is one of the only 2 recurring female crew members, and she has it rough. She has mood swings and is constantly used for sexual gags. After flashing once in the context of a rock concert in Season 1, this became her thing to the point that, well, take a look at the Season 1 DVD set. Dr. Quinn is on the first disc, and this is behind the disc. Debbie's on the second disc, and this is behind that disc. Marco Rodrigo Diaz de Valar Gabriel Garcia Marquez is voiced by Eric Estrada and exhibits machismo, threatening opponents with a shot of vitamin M. He can be a voice of reason around Captain Murphy and does have the nerve to stand up to him, unlike the other crew members. But Captain Murphy often retorts by calling him a mailbox head. Hesh Hepplewhite works in the reactor room, does not have an indoor voice.
Hey! Hesh wants some sex!
Debbie Love is the other recurring female crew member and works as the school teacher for the orphans on board Sealab. Why are there orphans on Sealab? I don't know. She appeared sporadically in the early seasons and received more screen time later. She brings the sass every time.
Come on in, honey.
This doctor makes house calls.
I get it.
Oh, you gonna get it.
Would you just get in here?
Oh, I'm gonna get in there.
All right already.
Elad Virjay is the medical doctor aboard Sealab and speaks in a thick Indian accent. He is relatively deadpan in his delivery, even when he's about to be murdered by a carnivorous monster.
You are a perfect killing machine, and I, for one, am honored to be among your helpless...
Lastly, and certainly not least, we have Dolphin Boy, a chubby boy who speaks exclusively in dolphin chirps, which no one in universe acknowledges. He is arguably more disliked than Stormy or Hesh by the crew, since he is usually insulted for his fatness.
Nice touch with the meat vest. That's right, fat stuff. Shake those chins.
Like I had trying to run away from Christmas!
Funny enough, he has existed as a concept for the show since that initial pilot.
He'll be singing a different tune when those goofballs I gave him kick in. What's that?
I will give an overview of each season and highlight some episodes. Each episode starts with the theme song, which is still a banger to this day. Season 1 is the most down-to-earth season of the show. The humor is dry and depends on dialogue since the animation is largely recycled from the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. The episodes can have the vibe of a workplace comedy where the characters chat while Sealab gradually implodes.
Hey! I've got a few conditions on this
Holy
robot thing.
crap! Did you see that freaking chopper explode?
Or while they're trapped in a closet with a broken door. Other episodes are more fantastical, such as Predator, which has a monster hunting down all the crew members, and All That Jazz, which has Captain Murphy trapped under a soda machine and befriending a scorpion. I, Robot is the quintessential example of the former. The crew is chatting about whether or not they will put their brains into robot bodies, while Dr. Quinn races to keep Sealab from exploding. Watching these characters chatting nonchalantly while the alarm sounds is hilarious.
God, it's so depressing.
What? Pod 6 was jerks.
No. Being trapped in
An
carbonite.
example of the latter is Waking Quinn. In this episode, Stormy keeps electrocuting Quinn, and most of the episode is Quinn's unconscious and bizarre dreams. The season concludes with Swimming in Oblivion, which frames Sealab 2021 as a show being filmed in-universe by Matt Thompson and Adam Reed, with their character models being lifted from an even more obscure Hanna-Barbera cartoon called Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids. Swimming in Oblivion, Waking Quinn, and All That Jazz are the more experimental episodes this season, and the experimentation continues into Season 2. Season 2 is the strangest season. Most of the episodes try for different kinds of storytelling and levels of absurdity. The more comparatively mundane episodes include Brain Switch, where the crew believes an explosion caused Quinn and Stormy to switch brains, and Legend of the Baggy Pants, where Murphy looks for the Golf Pro Shop on Sealab. There is Fusebox, a ball episode that takes place while Sealab is experiencing a blackout. Most of the episode is a still image of Sealab while the audience hears the characters talking. It depends on the viewer if this episode works or is just lazy. I think the concept works in this kind of show as opposed to a show like Fairly Odd Parents that tried this concept and failed. The first episode of Sealab I ever watched way back in the day was Tin Fins. This episode is framed as an entertainment show covering a fictional Sealab movie called Tin Fins. This fake trailer for Tin Fins is pretty cool and could have made for a fun and dumb movie.
How the hell can it cut the power? It's a shark!
Holy crap!
The episode has a lot of fake commercials, most of which are for a fictional restaurant chain called Grizzlebees that satirizes restaurant chains with large portions of unhealthy food. There's a commercial that is just Debbie flashing the camera in different settings.
The power of Debbie's breasts compels you.
And of course, there is the episode Bizarro, one of the most famous episodes. The crew of Sealab is captured by their Bizarro counterparts, and it's even crazier versions of already crazy characters bantering for 11 minutes. However, that episode is not as bizarre as 7211. This is an episode of Sealab 2020 played completely straight with all the voice actors of Sealab 2021.
Captain Murphy, that cargo sub is heading for trouble. It's turning into Seamount.
Contact Aquarius immediately and notify them of the danger.
In the creator commentary for this episode on the DVD set, the creators mentioned how easy it was to trim a 22-minute episode into an 11-minute episode because the original Sealab 2020 episodes were so slow and had so much filler content. Season 2 also has the infamous vacation episode, also known as the Uh-Oh episode. The episode starts off with a commonplace plot, and then, when Debbie thinks that Quinn is with a prostitute, there is a chain reaction of people throughout Sealab, around the globe, and in outer space saying uh-oh. This came out of nowhere, and it happens a second time, but even more absurd, and features a Russian bear going clubbing. This is an episode worth watching for being so odd, but it's probably only worth seeing once because the uh-oh segments are repetitive. That's a problem with some of the Sealab episodes, particularly after Season 1. They are funny the first time for the randomness, but don't quite land on subsequent watches. The problem gets worse as the seasons progress. The reliance on Adult Swim style anti-humor does not help. When Season 3 started, there was a shift in humor to being more mean-spirited. The episode Tourist Season is one of my least favorite episodes because while most of the earlier episodes had the Sealab crew being awful to each other, this one has them being awful, negligent, cruel, and harmful to adults and children they are scamming. Another example of how the show's humor became blunter and meaner is the treatment of Dolphin Boy. In Season 1, the other characters would call him fat.
So it's just us three and the fat kid?
God, you're fat!
In Season 4, they would shoot him at point-blank range. Season 1 and 2 showed incremental increases in original Flash animation for the show, and the trend accelerated in Season 3 and especially Season 4. Unfortunately, the animation still didn't look that good, and the newly animated bits clash with the style of the original Hanna-Barbera animation, making for a visually jumbled and sometimes ugly show. This season also marks the start of more gross-out humor and visuals. ASHD TV shows the worst qualities of Sealab's decline. While the characters were never that strong, they were relatively consistent. But this episode has Dr. Quinn uncharacteristically immature like Stormy, and also combines painfully slow anti-humor while there is a race against the clock that he should and would normally take seriously. Add in a bunch of stereotypes, gross out, and just plain bad lines, and you have a stinker of an episode. And now I have to talk about Tornado Shanks. With Murphy gone, Sealab needed a captain, in theory. There were enough fun characters to fill the void, such as Virjay and Debbie Love, but the show gave us Tornado Shanks, a former football coach with a personality as inconsistent as his southern accent. For some reason, the show takes shots at anime fans. That becomes particularly ironic since animes become a staple of Adult Swim programming, while 730 Productions, which produced Sealab 2021 with William Street, closed their doors in 2009. While you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who likes Shanks, he isn't the most hated character in the show. That character shows up in Season 4. Season 3 does have some funny moments. I like Craptastic Voyage and Neptunity, and think they hold up aside from some moments of anti-humor that kills the pacing. However, the show is running on fumes in this season, and the tank is pretty much siphoned dry by the next one. Season 4 sucks. None of the episodes stick out to me as fun or worth watching. Shrapster does the backwards narrative thing, but forgets to be funny. The anti-humor of Return of Marco and Caveman is just frustrating. Kasinko aged like milk in the summer sun. Monkey Banana Raffle is trash from start to finish. And Joy of Grief is a thoroughly unpleasant trudge through gore and stupid moments that crescendos to the introduction of Sharko, a completely worthless and unfunny character with one gag to his name that wasn't even funny the first time. There are fewer commentaries in the Season 3 DVD set, and none in the Season 4 DVD set. The bonus features become scarcer too. The commentary on Shanks' introductory episode is so spiteful and devolves into taking shots at the show and the viewer. Even the DVD sets start to give up in the later seasons. It just seems like they wanted to finish this thing and forget about it. I'm starting a new rating system. My highest rating is Yas Queen, for things that thoroughly impress me and bring me joy. I have would highly recommend for really good content, would recommend for generally good content, and worth checking out for content that isn't great but still has merit and some good moments. Thank you next is where the bad outweighs the good. Throw it in the bin is for the trash. Since these seasons are different, I will give each season its own rating. Season 1 gets a would highly recommend. These episodes have the most charm and utilize what they can do within their limitations the best in my opinion. Season 2 gets a would recommend. The quality does dip, but the experimental nature of so many of the episodes makes for an interesting and varied ride that I think is worth it. Season 3... thank you next. Most of the season is pretty bad, but there are a couple of decent episodes and funny moments. Season 4... throw in the bin. You can skip all of these episodes and not miss a thing. It's a shame. I had so much fun watching this series back in the day, and revisiting the early seasons is still a treat. Unfortunately, those last 2 seasons are letdowns. Sealab 2021 is a part of my childhood and likely had some impact on my sense of humor. You can still find me underneath the sea. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.
Jeez, way to go, Sparks. You broke the monitor, and you're dead. Happy? Oh, okay. That fixed it.